Hi, and welcome to the bi-monthly annual podcast, the only podcast that is not only bisexual, but really into calendars. I'm your host, Zach Graham, and with me, as always, is my co-host.
I'm Derek Key, hello.
All right, and this is our first podcast. This is what we would call bi-roughly. And we don't mean sexually.
Well, I mean...
Unless you're into that.
We always mean sexually, let's be honest.
Fair enough. All right.
We're using our radio announcer voices.
Yay! Radio. All right.
We have the face for radio. Aww.
Aww. A face only a mother or radio could love.
There's a song called Radiator Love, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
All right, Derek, shut the fuck up.
Sorry. I'm wearing a Mountain Goats t-shirt. I feel hipster already.
You're recording into a Logitech mic from 2008, so
man.
I don't think you can really talk shit right now.
Will this podcast come out on vinyl?
All right, next week it'll be just me. Just me.
Your face was life right there. All right.
So current events.
There are events that are current.
There are events that are happening all day, every day.
Yep. Normally.
All right, so for this
will be one of the rare times that we ever talk about politics because that's unfortunately what current events are normally.
Yeah.
So.
But here we go. Okay, so Donald Trump from announcing candidacy to what is essentially now a big fat clusterfuck of awful. Derek, what are your views?
I have the same problem with Trump as I do with most candidates. It's just Trump is louder than everybody else.
Fair enough.
Trump hogs the media because he says these inflammatory things. And so he gets more media attention because he says these things. And so that's why he's so publicized. And it also doesn't help that his constituents are a very vocal minority.
That's what I've always said, is that it's not that Trump is like getting to these people that, you know, don't have a voice. He's speaking to a very vocal minority that votes anyway.
Well, see, but I've never been quiet about it, but I support Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
But I feel like as far as political leanings go, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders they're the opposite ends of the spectrum, but their candidacy is very similar. They're both too radical to have anything that they try to get passed through Congress to actually pass. Whereas Hillary Clinton is a mild liberal. And
I wouldn't say mild. I'd say she's more in the Obama camp, but I would say that might be mild at this point.
Do we really want more of the same is the only issue as far as that goes. Not that Obama's done a bad job inherently. I mean, he hasn't made any more or less mistakes than any other president, in my opinion. So, I mean, my main thing is that Bernie Sanders, despite having fantastic ideas, and I really like him as a politician, and I will be voting for him one way or another, he just is too far
to the left
for whatever Congress we inevitably bring in to let most of those ideas go because they're going to be mitigated by those congressmen's own hang-ups.
Yeah,
and Trump's the same way. Trump is way too far, crazy, radical, and they'll be caught up by Congress, and that's just a whole other level of bureaucracy.
Well, see, and the whole thing is that I don't like, from the beginning I was like, oh, Trump's going to get a lot of traction, he's going to do all of this, and then I figured the GOP wouldn't give him the nomination even if he won, but I think they're too scared to do that now because they see how violent these people are.
Exactly.
And fuck you, they're violent.
Oh my God. These, the tweet that Donald Trump put out that was like these Bernie Sanders protesters that are coming to my rallies and disrupting things. I bet Bernie doesn't want my constituents to go to his rallies. And Bernie Sanders answers with, what, are you afraid of them hearing a consistent and honorable politician?
And that's fair. It's just, the fact that stupid people are preyed upon not only by the media but now politics is really, really scary because...
Well, it's just everyone's playing into the hands of the powers that be, unfortunately.
Well, it's more like... Let me put it this way.
Okay.
The way that they're producing politicians like Trump.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this was all his idea.
Oh, no, of course not.
I don't think this was all his idea. It's
he's a megalomaniac, but I don't think he's this smart.
No, but he's also a businessman, and he knows what's good for business. He knows even if he doesn't get the presidency or
It's
even
still
the candidacy,
lot of free publicity.
It's a lot of free publicity, and a lot of people are going to be like,
air quotes free. It's not really free.
Well, no, but he is backing it himself, and I do honor that because that's something that not even Bernie Sanders could do. But then again, Trump is a business mogul, and I don't see how that's good for America at all because the corporations and the monopolies in this country are the ones that are fucking everything up.
I would say that one of the biggest issues politically right now is that big business has so many hands in politics, and that's a lot of the problem, and that's a lot of the problem that a lot of people have.
And that's why Bernie Sanders' campaign, more than anything, is so important.
Exactly. And that's also the problem with him not being televised, and a lot of his events where people go and are like at his rallies don't ever catch any airtime on popular media because that's not what they want to televise. It's not what...
Well, and unfortunately, he's also tapping into a weird minority group, which is young people, namely 18 and 19-year-olds.
Well, and I would say that extends even to like 25.
Yeah, I would say so, but who do you see on Facebook like Bernie, 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 Bernie?
People under 25 who don't really do research or know what, like, okay. So the equivalent of Hillary and the GOP right now is Rubio and Cruz, really. There have been a couple other stand-ups, but that's about it, per se.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's an interesting time to be alive because Rubio and Cruz both, instead of, like, combining their efforts and just trying to make debates and that kind of thing more structured and about the facts, have just created more and more tension and issues with like just combating and being tit for tat with Trump. And so that's not giving them any political efficacy either.
Well, and it's very much who's who names game.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Did you see that CNN, because if you didn't know, Donald Trump recently said that he was not going to go to any more debates because he said that he felt like he was going to win anyway, so why would he go argue? And Kasich and Cruz were the only one that's left, and Cruz said, I'm not going to argue with the third place guy. And then Kasich just said, I'll show up. Yeah. And then CNN literally filmed Donald Trump's empty podium instead of covering Bernie's speech.
Which is ridiculous.
It's bullshit.
It's complete bullshit.
Because it's just... the fact that the mass media is trying to push Bernie away from the limelight.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you where the mass media's leanings are, nothing will.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you can even see that with, like, Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Like, all of their Bernie and Hillary sketches, they put Hillary in a much nicer light than they do Bernie.
True. What's really creepy is that Google keeps updating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
the primaries.
Like, it's always pro-Hillary, and they'll even confirm Hillary stuff before Hillary even does anything. And so it's obviously showing that Google has sort of put their eggs in the Hillary basket. And
well, all the big companies are putting Hillary in their basket because they know nothing's going to change if Hillary...
Exactly.
Because the last couple of years for, like, media, and especially, like, liberal media, have been really good through the Obama administration, and Hillary is more or less going to be an extension of that.
Well, and people fear change. Like, the status quo is what everyone likes because it's what they're used to.
I agree.
All right, well, we've kind of come to a good head as far as politics go.
Fair enough. Let's see.
One of our producers just gave Zachary a note, but I feel like I may have just concluded our current events section because we don't want to drone on about politics in a podcast where we openly admit that we are stupid.
This is dick jokes with some smart stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, that was our smart part.
All right,
dude, no, that's what we should call current events. The smart part.
The smart part. You gotta eat the vegetables before you eat the mac and cheese.
Now we're gonna get to the dick jokes.
You gotta do the foreplay before she'll touch your wiener. It's just how it works.
Yeah, basically. You gotta take her out to dinner first. You gotta buy a bottle of wine. You gotta treat her nice. You gotta open the door, and then whenever you open the door to your house, you can open the door to your pants.
I don't think that's how that works.
And that's sure.
Did you naked man a girl? Because I feel like you did.
Dude, I've honestly always wanted to. I feel like she would, like, I really want, like, a massage table just, like, in my living room that I can just be laying on naked just once. And then I'll sell the massage table on Craigslist like everyone else does.
Are you the Zodiac Killer? Because it sounds like it.
No, of course not.
Did they write the book American Psycho about your life?
I actually do. I did have one of those business card holder things, but I wasn't crazy about it, thank God.
You mean a Rolodex?
No. Like, they all like in the scene where he goes in and he's freaking out about that dude's business card. They all have those like business card holder things, a little metal flap thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
okay, I thought you were talking about a Rolodex, and I was like,
90% of this podcast is the word yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now on to the special topic, which is why are the second installments in movie trilogy so fucking boring?
Some movies do it right, and some movie franchises do it incredibly, but none are so interesting as Star Wars.
I would agree, because The Empire Strikes Back is the absolute best one in the movie.
It's my favorite movie, period. I can watch Empire Strikes Back by itself and be completely satisfied as a movie observer. But Clone Wars is a travesty to humanity. I have so many, and I will stick up for The Phantom Menace because I grew up with that movie, and like I'll stick up for Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith gets a lot of crap. But Clone Wars commits the one truly heinous sin that a movie can commit, and it's boring.
It is boring, but only in the sense that it's a Star Wars movie, and it's not what you signed up for. Because the Clone Wars kind of sets up the politics of the time and like all of that.
And that really shouldn't have been like the name of the Attack of the Clones. It shouldn't have been the name of the movie. Because the clones don't attack until about the 95% mark. Like, it's not about the attack of the clones. It's about them finding out about the clones, which were kind of this nebulous concept to begin with. Wasn't even mentioned in the first movie. It kind of feels like the point that people always bring up is that, they mentioned the Clone Wars once in New Hope. Let's make an entire movie about it. And it's just like, oh no.
See, I don't feel like that has anything to do with it. I feel like it has more to do with the Clone Wars are important because they set up the stormtroopers, but then again, I do agree with you. We shouldn't have a whole movie that explains why we have stormtroopers.
But why do we even really need the explanation for the stormtroopers? They were just the military.
And in that sense, why do we need the prequel trilogy?
Well, okay. Because George Lucas likes money. That's why.
I mean, I don't even know if it's because he likes money. I mean, he said at the end of...
This was my vision.
I don't know why he's Kermit, but okay.
That'll come up later.
Despite popular belief, George Lucas and Jim Henson are not the same person, but they do look alike. They do look alike, though.
That is not things I want to think about. Anyway, the point that I always make between those two movies is that Empire Strikes Back does so much right, and Clone Wars does so much wrong, that it's weird to believe that they're in the same universe, which is the problem of the Clone Wars to begin with. Like, Attack of the Clones feels like such a disjointed, like, one-off movie. It just doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But what's odd is in the middle of that spectrum between horrible Attack of the Clones and fantastic Empire Strikes Back follows the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, because I've always had a problem with the Two Towers.
I like the Two Towers of those. I mean, my favorite's Fellowship, but...
The Two Towers has the best battle sequence of
Agreed.
any Hobbit, Lord of the Rings movie. I don't care what you say.
Like, Legolas didn't skate downstairs on a shield in the books. But, like, that's cool. Like, whatever.
Yeah, like, fuck you.
Cinematically, that was cool.
Orlando Bloom is allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Because he's fucking Orlando Bloom.
Like,
anyway, like Johnny Depp can do whatever he wants because Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, let's not talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. They have too many movies to be counted as a trilogy.
Yeah. Well, see, the original, 3, I guess, are the original trilogy. Because
and the other ones up mermaids and whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's like... The second movie in that series is definitely the best movie.
Agreed. Well, I don't know.
Dead Man's Chest.
The first one is really good, but I think they took it in the right direction, and it expands upon the initial concept that the first movie brought up, and that's what a good sequel is. It takes the stuff that made the first movie good, and then takes it to a different level.
Yeah.
And it makes it a different thing. It makes it its own thing, building on the. It's like Legos. Like each piece of the first movie is each individual Lego. Like, you understand how each one works. It introduces you to the concept. You make basic stuff. Then the second movie is about taking those basic things and the Legos themselves and making them into this cool thing that's totally different that you've never messed with before.
That's fair. I would also like to bring up the fact that sometimes the first movie is the best movie because...
Oh, I mean, that's definitely true.
Because what ends up happening is they only get the money to make the first movie.
Well, I mean...
And then the second movie and the third movie kind of fall off because they're like, oh shit, we got to make money off this now.
Or they're like, this first movie was so cool, let's make more. And the writers are like, like
this was one off.
Like, we just had this one cool idea. Okay, we'll try and make more. Sure. Disney needs more attractions. Let's fucking go.
It's more like Disney needs to make more movies about its attractions,
Accurate.
which I kind of liked Haunted Mansion. I don't know.
I like Eddie Murphy.
That was his last good movie, because after that we got like...
And like Jennifer Tilly's severed head is actually kind of cool. I like that as far as a narration standpoint.
You said cool, but I could tell you wanted to say hot.
No.
And I don't...
No. The only movie I ever thought Jennifer Tilly was really attractive in was Liar Liar.
I thought you were about to say, like, fucking Bride of Chucky, and then I was just gonna lose all respect.
I have a really weird fetish for dolls.
Like an even weirder furry fetish.
She's a living doll.
Anyway.
So, like, the concept is that it's crazy how one franchise can be on totally separate sides of the spectrum as far as the sequel goes. But, like, Lord of the Rings, I would say, is a pretty iconic trilogy that everyone recognizes. And let's not start talking about The Hobbit. Like, ugh.
Yeah, anyway, there's a lot of problems
that gets
with
convoluted. As soon as you turn one book into three movies, it just... You get into that whole, cash grab.
That's another thing, is that we don't have true trilogies anymore, because what ends up happening with, like, the Harry Potter series, which is not three movies, but and with the Hunger Games series, is that they'll split the last movie into two,
which is
it
feels like a bullshit money grab, honestly.
Well, it is a bullshit money grab, because like every book in the Harry Potter series, like 4 on, could have had 3 movies about it, and they still wouldn't have covered everything in the book.
So there's no way, like, why did, I don't know, like, I understand that Dobby dying is, like, the real... spoilers. But, like...
Is it spoilers?
Spoilers?
If you really don't care by this point, I don't think you're ever going to care.
That book has been out since I was in middle school.
And the movie, the easy version of the book, has been out forever.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so
Dobby dying at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 1 is like a significant moment, and I understand, like, as far as breaking that movie, I don't think they could have picked a different point, but it's still not the climax of the movie.
Well,
and I would say that the first part, like, Part 1, doesn't really have a direct climax except for Dobby dying.
Well, no, because it ends with Voldemort finding the Elder Wand.
Yeah,
so therefore, I feel like that's the absolute best place to end it.
Yeah, but they make it feel like it's a cliffhanger. But whenever you've read the book, and I would say that most people who are invested in seeing that movie had read the book, cliffhangers are kind of superfluous.
Well, like I'm saying, it's the easy version of the book.
Yeah.
This is for people that haven't read the book, and they're never going to, because they're dumb fucks.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying the people that don't read are dumb fucks.
I am.
Okay. Alienate half our... Like, you realize we're listening to a podcast, right? Like, if we were doing this as a written blog, I would understand.
Oh, no. Fuck them.
This is reading for easy people.
Okay, did you know that when you read things... The average person reads, like, about 40 pages of shit on the internet a day.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you realize it or not. So, these people read. They just choose not to read literature.
They choose not to read good shit. Like, I realize we've kind of stopped talking about sequels, and there's more to talk about, but... Interesting tangent. I've been doing that thing where, like, I try to limit how much time on Facebook I spend, which I realized wasn't the correct structure for that sentence. But instead, like, I only spend 15 minutes a day on Facebook, and then the times that I'm like, oh, like, I should get on Facebook, I go and pick up a fucking book. Because, like, I can feel myself getting stupider. It's so bad. Like, if I have to listen to one more person bitch about their lives and how hard it is and how much everybody cares... or misrepresent facts in their life. Like, if I have to hear about you working at a soup kitchen, I'm going to punch you. Because the minute you start mentioning that you're doing all this charitable stuff, it becomes ego stroking. And that's such an issue in our society. Everyone wants to be pat on the back for whatever reason, and it's just, guys, I'm sorry. Your life is not about participation trophies and being congratulated for waking up today. I'm
Exactly.
sorry. I realize that for a lot of people, getting out of bed is a battle. And we've all been there. And some people have been there a lot longer than others, and I understand that. But life isn't about, handouts. Life isn't about making yourself feel good. Life's about fucking making something of yourself and being happy with what you do. Like, man, life philosophy and shit. Bet you didn't expect this on a podcast.
Yeah. Or at least this podcast.
Or at least this podcast. Again, we're stupid. Don't listen to us.
Yeah, we really don't know anything.
Like,
yeah, we're
anyway. We're shitty millennials. Anyway, bad segue.
Woo!
I don't write segues. There's no reason to. You're not here to listen to segues. You're here to listen to us talk about shit.
We were supposed to hire a guy for segues, and then we just never did.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, it never came up in the budget. Our budget was mostly spent on beer.
Anyway. Movies, sequels,
Woo!
Trilogies,
stuff. This will probably be a topic later whenever we actually care about it.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. But it's like
mainly
the final point is another interesting topic within this is that is splitting a final film into two movies still one movie, or do you count it as two movies?
I count it as two movies mainly because after you've made two distinct pieces of art, they are no longer one piece of art.
Fair enough.
And there are things that work in tandem, and there are things that can go together, but in no way is the Mona Lisa like a piece of like IKEA furniture. Both of those can be construed as art in one way or another, but they are not the same thing. And nor if you put them both in the same house, they are not in some way the same kind of art. They're two separate things.
Well, my argument would be the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Going back to that, is that
do you think all three of those movies are like one continuous? Because they're one continuous story.
They are one continuous story, but not only that, they were all filmed at the same time. So therefore, I would argue that it's all one movie. It's just released in segments instead of as one 12-hour-long movie because no one's going to fucking watch Hobbits for 12 hours.
I promise I'm not going to stand on my soapbox about this for long.
Okay.
But Final Fantasy VII's episodic thing makes me so angry.
Yeah.
And I would say that most things that are episodic, and you have to buy them in segments and watch them in this... that's the reason why Netflix and everything is so popular, is because you can just binge watch stuff. There's no cliffhangers. You get the information immediately. In our immediate information society, because, we all have computers in our pocket that can tell us anything we need to know.
Relatively.
Yeah. It's just the episodic nature of the dual-ending film. And, I need to write a thesis where that's the title, but...
It's just... It feels like a cash grab. It just feels weak in and of itself. And what it inevitably makes is a movie where you have to make filler. And I watch a lot of anime, and I've always have. Filler arcs are the most boring thing often enough about anime because especially if you've read the manga before you watch the anime. I'm showing my geek flag, I'm aware. But you know where the story is going, and being forced to wait even though you know what's going to happen, just feels like such a letdown from your content producers. And I have a real issue with it. So here's my soapbox. I'm getting off it. I'm throwing it away. And I have one thing to say. I'm going to make a meme out of your face. On the top it says, hates episodic storylines, has podcast.
Hey, this is the bi-monthly annual podcast where we don't do fucking cliffhangers. That's it. Because a podcast with a cliffhanger would be stupid. Just like
to be continued.
Just like a movie. Anyway,
all right. So enough of that.
Anyway, sorry again.
All right,
I won't get back on my soapbox. I promise.
Oh, don't make promises you can't keep, babe. Anyway,
damn it, you know me so well.
Anyway, so it's interview time.
Woo!
And for the purposes of By Roughly, we have my beautiful, redheaded, sexy lady, girlfriend, here with us.
Hi, Lindsey.
That was a horrible intro.
It was. He probably should have led with, and this is Lindsey, and then said that stuff. That way, our audience knows her name and can kind of put not a face to the name, but like an idea to the name and like the concept. But no, you do it whatever shitty way you decided.
Hey.
Well, that's Lindsay.
And that's it. Thanks, guys.
No, come back.
I
come
promise
back.
you it's not Pick on Zach Day.
It is.
That's every Tuesday.
No, it's every day.
You know?
It's just there are days where it's longer and more convoluted
Hey.
than it should be.
Zach, at least it's not the other 6 days of the week where it's Get Drunk by Yourself Day, so it's okay.
Aw.
I'm sorry, I can't sing songs.
Do you want a hug?
Come on, Big Cat.
Come on, big cat. No, you can sing songs. It's technically a parody because you're so bad.
Oh, thanks, asshole.
Anyway, Lindsay's the spotlight here.
Yeah, not us throwing shade at each other.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hey,
So, Lindsay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Lindsay.
Clearly.
I've been dating Zach for like a year now.
Oh my god. Swag. Like, oh my god.
And I'm an art major in college.
What's the project you're the most proud of?
None of them?
Really?
Talk about the Facebook thing that you did.
I did an exhibit a few years back where I constructed an analog version of Facebook in a public space, and people were free to contribute their latest Facebook statuses, and every day I uploaded it and updated.
You can't see the air quotes because this is a podcast, but she did air quotes, don't worry.
Air quotes were intentional. Go ahead, baby.
Uploaded air quotes. Again, you can't see me doing air quotes either. Fuck, this is hard.
Talking is hard.
I don't know how to do this thing I've been doing since I was 2.
Anyway.
It would have been weird if I had said a different age than 2. If I had said like 8, you would have looked at me like I had some kind of learning disability.
So, Lindsay.
Yes.
I'm not going to follow that storyline.
We're not.
Get off topic! Hurry!
Do you want to talk about how we met on the podcast?
Do you want to get
guess
weird?
we are now.
Yeah, now that you've brought that up.
No,
I had nothing to do with it.
I take that back. Anyway.
You can't. It's out there now. Tell them your romantic story.
So, I'm going to start this off with...
What's that mood music? Thank you.
I'm going to
start
start
my own horn over here.
I'm going to start this off with I'm a piece of shit. And
Like, my favorite nickname for Zachary, and I think Lindsay will agree with me on this, is Trash Dad.
I am
Zach's
Trash
a
Dad.
It's
I
fantastic.
came up with that.
I know, and it's my favorite, and I applaud you
you.
for it.
Thank
Literally
you.
applaud.
Thank you.
I'm Trash Dad. Lindsay is Trash Can Carla. And Derek is Oscar the Grouch.
Woo!
That's us.
That's the trio.
I live inside of Trash Dad.
And this is a great interview, and I'm gonna...
Hey, whoa, you can't cop out now.
Okay, well, all right, so
Trash
Lindsay,
Can Carla, get back here.
how far into the Kim Kardashian game on my phone are you?
I would prefer not to talk about that topic.
Oh, did you
What,
say
we can't talk about the things you download awkwardly on your boyfriend's phone that make his family question his sexual orientation?
Oh, they already do that.
I know.
My phone!
Oh, you already beat it once on your phone, so you had to download it on your boyfriend's phone? Cool. Making sure.
Yeah,
just in case his parents wanted to know you were a beard, now they're sure.
Anyway, but it's not as bad as it used to be because she used to like put anytime she would go up a rank as a celebrity on my Twitter, and then like fucking people from my high school would like it, and then
for real. I always knew. Like, have you ever gotten one of those messages from somebody in high school? Like they're like, I always knew, and because they saw like some post you made on Facebook, I was like, I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but what the fuck are you talking to me about right now? Like, my voice is getting really high pitched because I'm feeling insecure. Like, that's like,
no, but Lindsay can tell you I download embarrassing things on my phone all the time, and I don't need her help. Especially the game.
Hang on, Lindsay. What's the most embarrassing thing you haven't downloaded onto his phone?
I haven't?
What's the weirdest thing you found on his phone?
Grinder.
Seriously?
No.
Damn it! That would have been a great talking point. Now everyone in high school knows.
What's the weirdest thing you haven't put on my phone? Like, what would be like something embarrassing that if anyone else saw it, I would be embarrassed?
So let's tell the internet.
I have your phone over here.
While she's doing important, embarrassing Zach research, Like we can
My
talk
favorite.
about other things.
No, but I was going to tell you guys about the most embarrassing thing that I've ever downloaded. If you've ever heard of the game Episode,
No, dear God.
I have downloaded. Basically,
He's played the Demi.
Oh.
Yeah, I found
Oh.
that on his phone. I guess that counts.
What
right?
is? Explain that to the
okay, so
audience, Lindsay.
Episode is basically
No, I'm talking about what she said.
Oh,
Don't talk. Stop talking about whatever boring shit you're talking about. I'm kidding, baby. I'm kidding.
We're talking
bring
about
it
the
in, Big
same
Cat.
thing, but it's fine.
Bring
We're
it in,
talking
Big
about
Cat.
the same thing, but it's fine.
We're interviewing her.
Okay, go for it.
Speaketh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the permission.
Oh, you're welcome. God.
Basically, you get to be a singer with Demi. What's her face?
Oh, Lovato.
Demi Lovato. Yes.
It is
you get
bad
to,
that we both knew that. Anyway.
You get to be a singer with Demi Lovato, and you have a lot of relationship issues, and it's great. Like,
And the reason that I play this game is for the absolute straightest.
So you feel pretty?
No, for the straightest white trash reason that it could possibly be.
Do you
I
have
play a
boner
lesbian
Oh, okay. Dude,
because it's
no.
something I could never be.
Don't feel bad. In Fallout 4, I immediately was like, my character's gonna be a girl. I'm gonna make her a lesbian. Like the second that the character creation screen came up, I was like, lesbians. Because I spoiled the plot for myself a little bit. I knew it was about like you trying to find your kid. And I was like, I hope you love your new mom. Like literally, I was saying that to myself when I was making the thing. I was like, this might. If anyone knew that I was thinking this, they would probably think I was crazy.
Oh, baby, we know.
I know. You know. I know. Anyway.
Did you find embarrassing shit on my phone?
Aside
Lindsay?
from-
we just talked about
Yeah, we
it.
just did.
Oh, okay.
Your
We
love
covered
affair,
that.
your lesbian love affair with Demi Lovato.
Yeah, that was
I'm gonna be
something.
honest. The most embarrassing thing I probably have had on my phone is that I got to like level 250 in Candy Crush because I am literal trash.
No. What was worse about it was every single day you would send me a Candy Crush
I'm sorry.
invite, and I would be
I
like,
was weak. I had to beat my ex-girlfriend. She was so much better at that game than me. It became a daily competition. It was like, so did you beat whatever level last night? No. I'm this far. I was like, fuck you. Oh, I hate you. Like, I hate you. Like, why are you better at matching games than I am? It was that. And that's not a good place to be in a relationship,
That's
it turns
cute.
out. Yeah, don't do that, by the way. Life advice from somebody who's like 6 months older than you.
Yes,
They're like, no, hey, I'm like a year older. I'm a little under a year older than you, aren't I?
slightly, yeah.
we're all
And
47.
And you're the babby.
He is a wee little bab.
I am the youngest one here.
See some babs.
We're gonna see some babs.
If we ever go to a strip club, I'm walking in and saying that loudly.
Please don't. One, please don't take me to a strip club.
Oh, why not?
Two, please don't run in there yelling, "We're gonna see some babs," because we will get arrested.
Or just kicked out. Come on, it's a strip club. If they called cops there, a lot more bad shit would happen to them than it would to us.
Arrested.
Fine. Anyway.
What else do you want to talk about, Lindsay?
Just Lindsay things.
Just Lindsay things.
Just Lindsay things.
We need to have a segment on the podcast. It's just Lindsay things.
I like that.
Where it's
I'm
we.
into it.
Lindsay is in the spotlight.
Welcome to Just Lindsay Things, where me and Derek literally leave the room so that Lindsay can just talk.
And we intentionally let her edit it and don't listen to this portion of the podcast. That way she can tell you all the horrible shit we do. This
Sounds
is
like a
Lindsay's.
plan.
This is Lindsay's time to vent.
Lindsay's corner.
Lindsay's personal diary on our podcast.
Hey guys.
I hope this is a repeating segment because that would be fantastic.
Sure.
We don't know what she said until after it's published.
It'll
That
be
would
great.
fantastic.
I'll have
Just
fun.
like in the second podcast, we're just hearing like, these fucking assholes. Like, oh no. Oh no.
I wasn't allowed to be a guest this week. So guess who's sitting in the room next to where they're recording the podcast for an hour?
Angrily. Like, I have many exclamation points and the caps lock is on.
Breathing heavily.
Insecurity intensifies. I am beautiful. From our Lord and Savior, Papa Franku.
Oh dear Jesus.
Let's say Filthy Frank for another day.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
anything else you want to say, Lindsay?
Y'all have any more questions for me?
I don't think Zach planned this out much.
Yeah, this hasn't been much of an interview. No.
Suck a dick, dumb shits.
This is called By Roughly for a reason. There was no planning involved. I just wanted to see how it would work. I wanted to see how the mic and the computer would work out on a long-term recording session.
And you wanted to show this to a teacher.
Be like, hey, look, I'm not dumb. I did the stuff.
I did a business.
I did it, and it's okay.
Like, I did a podcast. Praise me.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Edit that out.
Okay,
I mean, the last 35 minutes. Just edit out the last 35 minutes.
All right, so...
Can I still end this? Or do
No,
we
yeah,
have to-
you're our guest now forever.
Yes! Okay!
I've always thought that radio shows needed 3 people anyway, so you're fine.
Wanted to shoot
Almost.
for 45. Yeah,
And
we could have gone on 2 more minutes.
We've still got 2 more. We still got 2 more topics to cover.
Well, no, we already covered the political topic. We'll go ahead
Let's
and...
talk about music then. Huh? Speak loudly. What? Oh, we actually haven't covered the political topic because Lindsey hasn't been able to give her 2 cents.
Yeah, so Lindsey...
Exactly. So we have what I'm gonna say. Like let's clock like 8 more minutes of this because I mean we're probably gonna cut 8 minutes of me being a douche.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so music was next, right?
Yeah, well, music was like, that would be if we had a musical guest or something, which we don't this week.
I thought you meant we could talk about music.
We can do that.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
pretty musical.
Yeah. I love a musical. Can we talk about my favorite band ever?
What's your favorite
Ninja
band
Sex
ever?
Party? And how they released an album that's all covers and it's glorious.
What's your favorite cover? Joe?
I am really torn. I love their cover of Jump because I've always loved Van Halen, and I always thought Danny's voice would do really well with that. But I also am a giant fan of Rush, and I know that Danny's a giant fan of Rush, and they did a cover of Subdivisions, and it's spectacular. Like, admittedly, I don't think that Danny's voice really lended itself to the cover of Misunderstanding that they did. I do think it's a good cover, but I don't think that that's really the way that they should have taken it, I guess. I don't know, but like,
Fair enough.
their cover of Our Love is super good. But we had this conversation, and I don't really know. Like, I prefer the original song of that because the original song is a pitch higher, is a full step, at least a full step, I think, and is also a little bit faster.
I didn't mind that cover as much as what is my least / favorite cover on the album, which is Everyone Wants to Rule the World.
I like that song because it's very much in Danny's wheelhouse.
It's in Danny's wheelhouse, and I like it. But as far as a cover album goes, where I want something a little different in my cover album,
it is an exact cover.
It's a little on the nose. Yeah.
I taught you that phrase.
You did.
Anyway,
And I'm glad
I agree
because
with that.
I've used it.
Dude, it's very, very
It taught me
tactful.
that it is. It's like, anyway.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, the phrase "on the nose" means like something is just a little bit too obvious. Whenever, like, you have a main character who's like super happy and is always like outgoing and go lucky, and his name is Sunny, and they're always like in the daylight, and then they go through a hard time, and it's mostly shots at night and stuff like that. That's a little on the nose. The name is kind of overbearing. Like, it's that kind of thing.
It's kind of like... It's the Futurama episode where Fry puts on the opera is perfect because the robot devil goes, "You can't just tell the audience that your characters are angry. That makes me angry."
You can't just have your characters say what they're feeling. That makes me angry. Yeah, that is on the nose to a T.
That's
like,
on the nose.
Whenever you just have a character say something outright that's obviously implied, that's like, it just turns into you beating the audience like with it. Like, fuck.
Just spanking them.
Yeah, for real.
Spanking
That's always
good.
been a really big like pet peeve of mine in
Yummy.
writing and film. Anyway,
Lindsey,
yeah,
since we're on the topic of music, do you want to talk about that time you saw Paul McCartney?
I saw Paul McCartney once.
and that's the end of this segment.
Oh, why don't we let Lindsey talk?
I was just kidding. If Lindsey wants to talk more about her Paul McCartney adventures, it's just I'm gonna get sad and jealous.
Just be quiet. There's only 5 minutes left in the podcast. You can do it. Tell us about Paul McCartney, Lindsay.
He was beautiful.
How many times did you cry?
Only 14.
Yeah, you mean every time you took a video?
Yes.
Her dad has said that was the most painful concert experience he's ever had because she was crying so much.
Your dad sounds like a fun person.
He's a pretty cool guy.
He's pretty cool. Actually, we caught her dad out. Like, this was in the middle of summer. It was pitch black at night. He was sitting out on their porch, which is about half a glass of Fireball, or like half a bottle of Fireball that I know was full.
Yeah,
at the beginning of the night, and he just has
his
his sunglasses on, and he's listening to Frank Sinatra, just sitting upright, and we're just like, "What the fuck are you doing,
dude?" I'm gonna be that adult one day. Like,
and no.
You've been there and seen me do that. I've done that with just like a bottle of scotch that was full, and then he came to check on me like an hour later, and I'm outside. That half that scotch is gone. I'm listening to Frank Sinatra smoking a cigar. I'm just like leaning backwards, like.
But no. The best part about her dad, that situation with her dad, was the sunglasses. And then we're like, why are you wearing sunglasses? And he just went, the lamppost was too bright. And then we went,
why are you wearing sunglasses at night? So I can see what's going on. 80s reference!
Block the haters.
I wear my sunglasses at night. So, anyway.
Anything else you want to talk about, Lindsay?
Do you want to talk about politics, like when I cut you off earlier?
We can.
You give your 2 cents. We've got a couple minutes to fill. Let's go.
About what?
What you were that like Time Warner is Hillary supported, and that's why she gets a shitload of airtime.
Well, that's kind of what it is, because it's amazing that Bernie made it this far, and he's constantly looked down upon as a competitor, because Hillary has a bunch of super PACs and big businesses, Wall Street, backing her.
Well, and the thing about super PACs is that they can actively flip-flop at any point in the election. And if you gave all the super delegates that they're giving to Hillary to Bernie, Bernie would be winning. Air quotes, winning. So, like, it's just misrepresentation based on who they want candidate-wise to win.
That's true. And, like the producer told you guys about earlier.
Yeah.
That mysterious
Cough, cough,
producer.
Lindsay was our producer. I just didn't want to say it out loud to spoil the guest.
I am producer.
Yes, you know.
Anyways.
God, you breeder. Sorry. Anyway. Edit that out.
You've upset Lindsay!
Have
Can I talk about Hillary now?
Yes, baby.
I want to talk about Hillary now.
You can talk about Hillary without Derek being a dick.
I'm going to talk about Hillary now.
Please do.
Keep saying that.
I'm sorry.
I got him, baby. I got him.
Thank you. Anyways, Time Warner supports Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And Time Warner is in charge of many major TV stations like CNN, NBC, that sort of deal. So the reason why Bernie is kind of portrayed unfairly compared to like other candidates is because Hillary bought time, Donald Trump bought time. So they're kind of required to talk about Hillary in a greater light because that's where their company's money went to.
Yeah.
And it's just the companies don't, well, not companies, but like the CNN, mass media don't take Bernie as seriously too much because they're not viewing him as a threat.
Well, and also he got most of his funding from like unions and small donations. And that's not the way politics have been traditionally done for decades.
Exactly.
So they don't think he's going to win because he's doing it differently.
Additionally, too, I think it should be mentioned that a lot of 18 and 19-year-olds are like, go Bernie, and like they're
very uninformed.
Very uninformed at times, and they just choose a candidate, and that's it. That's who they...
Yeah.
And just latch onto it.
Go
blindly following.
Go Bernie. Call me Star Self. Wanderlust.
MC Army.
Go Bernie. MC Army.
Uh-huh.
That's
I like Never Shout Never's new music.
Can we not talk about my girlfriends in high school, please?
So.
Anyway, yeah, we share the same view on that, Lens.
I mean, well, not just that. I mean, there are also a lot of 18 and 19-year-olds who are very well informed. It's just...
Well, those that take the time to actually do the research to inform themselves are well informed because that's what you have to do as a political constituent nowadays.
Well, it's because it's that age group I was going to
Yeah.
say, basically, is that people automatically are going to take whatever they think seriously. And then, additionally, I should mention, last night, I got really bored and really sad, so I just started looking through, like, comments on Trump posts.
Oh, no.
So I thought, and I found it very interesting, because specifically I wanted to look into, like, why women supported Trump.
Because that seems like a bewildering construct to begin with.
It is.
Because he's, like, any forward-thinking woman would not even take a second glance at Trump. Because Trump is openly bigoted.
Yeah, openly misogynistic.
Yeah.
Unless they're gold diggers.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I mean...
Like, people who are voting, like, that's like some weird, like, rock star thing where, they, like, teenage girls think that if they listen to somebody's music that they'll eventually meet them and then somehow marry them. Doesn't work that way with voters and Trump.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
generally, like, the major age base that I was noticing was, like, you know, middle age and above.
Yeah.
Any young person that commented on the post were usually, you know, pro-Bernie,
Yeah,
generally. Very rarely
The
Hillary.
vocal minority that is pro-Bernie is on the internet.
Well, of course, but I mean, it was, like, more Bernie, and I didn't really see much about Hillary.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I mean, just like you're not going to see much about Cruz or Rubio on the comments of Facebook.
Yeah.
Because...
I mean, there were actually a lot of pro-Cruz.
Which, I mean, is a good thing, I guess. I would, like, I'm not saying that I'm going to vote for Cruz, but as far as it goes, I would have Cruz over Trump any day. Like, because at least Cruz isn't a wacko. Completely. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not wacko. I mean, like,
You
Cruz,
do realize he's the one who led to the government shutdown a couple years ago, right?
he's the least crazy Republican candidate. And that's saying a lot, admittedly.
I don't know. Rubio was probably...
I agree. Rubio's not horrible. I've done a lot of research, and I can't really... If Cruz and Rubio were on the same ticket as president and vice president, I think they could beat Trump.
Well, Rubio just dropped out.
So that's what because Rubio could be Cruz's vice president.
Did you know
which
that...
would be great, actually. And I might, like... Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Bernie to win. But I have a really big problem with Hillary. And if Hillary gets the bid... I don't know if I'm going to vote for her because I'm not just going to not vote, but I don't know if I'm going to vote for Hillary because she's done nothing. She lies actively and is just immediately disproven 90% of the time. And that's not something you want in a political candidate. At least Cruz says things and then follows through.
And I will agree with that. Cruz is very consistent on his beliefs.
Yeah.
And he's very vocal about it, and he definitely goes above and beyond to exemplify those beliefs, like filibustering, etc. Because he's actually, he was he's a very young senator.
How old is he? Is he 50? I feel like he's 50. Am I wrong? Or is he younger than that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't either. That would be something worth looking up at some point in the near future, not now. But yeah.
It's just...
You can look that up really quick while I counterpoint. Or, well, not even counterpoint, really just agree with you. Yes. I think, and again, I'm not like a giant Cruz supporter, but my parents are gonna vote for Cruz, which is fine because my parents are actively like Trump is a wacko, and that if Trump gets the presidency, they're gonna sit back and laugh while stuff just kind of crumbles. And admittedly, I'm pretty much in the same boat. If Trump, I'm not going anywhere. Like the whole move to Canada thing is funny, but kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, I'm just going to watch the world burn.
His real name is Raphael. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I know that
do you
he
know?
is of Hispanic descent.
Well, I
And,
always
and
knew
he would
that,
be,
but-
but he would be, it would be the same kind of, he would be our first, like, of Hispanic descent president, which is equally cool. But, like, his thing isn't necessarily, I don't necessarily agree with all of his principles, but he's consistent with his principles, and it's the principle of consistency that I actually don't completely dislike, and is the thing that Hillary is lacking. And in a political candidate, you need the consistency.
And I will agree with that. To answer that question from earlier, Ted Cruz is actually 45 years old.
Oh.
So
he's less than 50. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so he's actually a pretty young politician
yeah.
on the scene. And
and I would say that Bernie Sanders is, like, everyone is complaining that Bernie Sanders is too old. But Nelson Mandela was president of South Africa, right? I'm not being stupid.
Let's fact check that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm right. I'm not that smart. I'm sorry.
That's
But
okay.
he gained his presidency in the past, like 2 years later than Bernie would have if he were to be elected. And Nelson Mandela, I don't think anyone can argue, is one of the, most looked up to political leaders in the last. Was I right about South Africa? I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I thought you were,
I doubt myself, and I'm sure the audience and everyone else in this room could tell that I was doubting myself in that moment, so I seeded more doubt. I thought so. I'm not. Off the top of my head is not my strong suit.
Well.
Laughs, lol.
Oh, you want to say something, Lindsay?
I do.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I wanted to finish what I was talking about.
Yeah, this will probably be the closing point. So.
Basically, what I was going to say is I agree with you on the consistency, because that is a major issue. And also, especially on the fact of this election, in a way, is like a very important one in the sense that both of the seemingly nominees at this point in time, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump at this time, are both very controversial. So it's kind of a bit unpredictable in a way to see which way this election, I should say, will go in, because people are going to want to vote for Trump or Hillary, and the whole lesser of two evils principles kind of comes into play there. So it'll be interesting to watch. Another point I would want to contribute as well is just that as a woman looking into this election, women's rights are a very important topic for me, because I want to make sure that I have accessibility to the things I need. And for people like Ted Cruz, they don't necessarily agree on that and don't feel that women should have access to birth control or...
Which is a major issue I have with Cruz.
So that's just kind of like a difficult point for women in general, because it's just like supporting candidates like Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, you have to keep in mind, are they...
Really any GOP candidates.
Especially...
Most GOP candidates.
Going back to those comments I was looking at really quick.
Oh, God.
A lot of women who are commenting about Trump, shockingly, many times I've seen this, where specifically on articles about like how Donald Trump feels about women's issues, they commented, "What about men's issues?"
Really?
Really, because
that seems that seems almost naive.
It is, because
and like what an odd place for someone who
engenders himself as a woman to be in. Like, that's such a strange mentality. Well,
then I think a lot of these women who I was reading about, again, older, generally, sometimes I feel bad because there are a lot of women who don't pay attention to politics beyond what a male figure in their lives mention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, there's other women who are very vocal, and Hillary, for example, but it's just kind of sad because it feels a lot of times like people just talk about candidates to please their male cohorts instead of themselves.
I can see that.
Which, I mean, is kind of a narrow-minded worldview that we've constructed.
It is.
For them.
Sad.
Or, well, not we necessarily, but Americans over the past 100 years or so.
I will agree.
Anyway, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough of our continued smart part.
You got two smart parts.
Yeah.
Smart part.
I have no smart parts.
Hey,
That's
you know what?
okay.
Your smart part's in your heart, buddy.
I thought it was in my pants.
And
I
I'm
revoke
going
my
to
current
take
statement.
my hand off of your shoulder.
And that's all the time we have for today. I hope everyone has a good night or what the fuck ever. I don't care. I don't have an outro.
Like, it's nighttime now.
It's nighttime now.
Just
I don't give a
seriously.
fuck. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and eat a pizza because I'm a fat piece of shit. Woo! Bye.